And talking of the fight at the front, did the wrong Ferrari, and I say that in air quotes, did the wrong Ferrari win the British Grand Prix? And obviously, Carlos Sainz got his maiden victory at Silverstone, a breakthrough weekend for the Spaniard. It wasn't easy though. I don't think he was the fastest driver across the weekend, but he put together a tidy lap at the right time in qualifying in the wet conditions to grab his first pole, and then he made the very most of the late safety car, despite having had to earlier concede position to Leclerc, which was the right thing to do. They just did it too late. And Sainz was so strong with Verstappen at the restart on lap 2, and then he had lost the lead obviously on the first start because the Red Bull was on the soft tyres. And he had to give the place up because Leclerc was just magnificent, even though he had damage to his front wing, which he'd carried from the lap 2 restart after the contact with Perez. And Leclerc was regularly faster, able to sit in DRS range of his teammate, which meant his call to be let through once Verstappen had been removed from the lead battle. It carried a lot of weight. But yet Ferrari seemed to dither over what to do. They were asking Sainz to target 32.9s as Hamilton, now in third, began to close, but he couldn't do it. So they pitted him, and then they gave Leclerc the free air. But Leclerc couldn't do enough because Sainz had good pace on the harder tyres. And eventually, Ferrari had to make the call. They moved Leclerc ahead of Sainz, and Leclerc took off. He went clear of Sainz by 3 or 4 seconds, with both drivers now on the hard tyres, although Leclerc did have a 5-lap offset on his teammate. But sometimes in sport, it's better to be lucky than good. And the timing of the safety car allowed Sainz to pit for fresh soft tyres. Now, I'm not quite sure where Leclerc was at the time of the safety car coming out. If he had the opportunity to pit, then, Ferrari have got to be a bit more on the ball. They can see that Alpine is probably going to end up in a place where it's not going to be recoverable easily. So they've got to warn Leclerc. And as soon as it stopped, they should have been calling him in. They should have been calling him in immediately, even if the safety car wasn't thrown immediately. There was yellow flags, and as soon as you see that the Alpine has stopped, you've got to call him in because you know it's going to be a safety car, and it's Ferrari messing it up again. And that meant Leclerc was in the unenviable position of having old hard tyres while everyone else behind him had soft tyres, and in this case brand new soft tyres. They're all primed to attack. Now, where have we seen that before? Cast your minds back to December. And you could argue that had Ferrari allowed Leclerc through earlier, they may have been able to box both drivers, and Leclerc may have been beyond the safety car and able to box and exit without losing track position. Ferrari shot themselves in the foot. They ended up having the car furthest behind in the title race on the best tyres at the restart and in the best place to win. But in Sainz's point of view, that was gold dust. He made the absolute most of this great opportunity, and he put the move on Leclerc onto the Wellington Straight, and he checked out as Perez, Hamilton and Leclerc squabbled over the rest of the podium places. The Spaniard stroked it home, broke his F1 duck, and he missed out 2 weeks ago, but this time he got the job done. He missed out in 2020 at the Italian Grand Prix for McLaren, but this time it came his way. Ferrari, you've got to do better. You've got to be more decisive. Red Bull will be absolutely cutthroat, and we saw that in Spain. They didn't really care that they were upsetting Sergio Perez. I don't know how they reacted to Jos Verstappen bitching about the lack of team orders in Monaco, but had the opportunity arisen for Red Bull, they'd have moved Perez out of the way. And if that situation arises for them again, they'll do it. Ferrari need to get their house in order. They've got to be really robust with this. But then you can argue Leclerc has not delivered on the potential that his car has had in the last few races where he'd had pole position. And some of that has been reliability. So the bad luck in Baku and in Spain, maybe Leclerc deserved to be let through earlier and allowed to go and take the race for himself. But that late safety car could still have caught them out. There's a lot of ifs and buts, but Ferrari must do a better job from the pit wall on the team side to make sure they get this right. Otherwise, they're going to be It's going to be a McLaren 2007 situation where they're going to be too busy looking inwards at each other, and they're just going to allow the other team to go and win the championship.